It's January 27th, and I have another message from the aliens. I'm an interdimensional communicator, which means I can communicate directly with angels and aliens and other interdimensional beings. Now, up until last year, I mostly worked with angels, but then the aliens started coming in to introduce themselves to me. And you might wonder, was that frightening? And I'd say it was a little surprising, maybe, but not frightening. I recognized the energy, that it was that same benevolent, loving energy that I was familiar with the angels. So I wasn't frightened, but I was really excited and curious. When the aliens started communicating with me last year, I met them one by one and eventually met 26 total aliens. And they didn't tell me until I had met quite a few of them that they were the individual members of the Galactic Federation, which I didn't even know what that was. I had to Google that. Turns out that's the name of their governing body that we've known of for at least long enough for it to show up in like Hollywood TV shows and movies. So they're the governing body of the cosmos. Those are the 26 aliens that I'm able to connect with. And when I first started getting to know them, I started a notes document. I got their names and what they were sharing with me. And then we moved on to doing a project together where I collaborated with them to create AI-generated images to reflect what they wanted us to imagine them as.
You're saying you know for a fact there are aliens?
Yes, 100%.
There are alien craft?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Have you been involved in the recovery of those alien craft?
Well, Ross, yes, I have.
How does it feel to say that?
I'm kind of over it. Like, this has been a fact I had to get over. It wasn't easy when it first hit you. That was years ago. And it's actually quite therapeutic to get to talk about it. And I'm encouraged that it's becoming commonplace, because that's where it needs to be for us to move forward and start gathering some evidence, which we intend to do.
It's January 25th, and I have another message from the aliens. Now, yesterday I shared a pretty long message from alien Enki, who is the leader of the Galactic Federation's Council of Light. Today, I have a message from Enki's brother, who's one of the leaders of the Galactic Federation's Council of Darkness. Today, the being known formerly as Enlil goes by alien Promethius. So I reached out to Promethius today and I asked him if he could comment on that and share a little bit of his backstory. Unlike his brother Enki, alien Promethius would like us to imagine him in his alien expression. Here's how alien Promethius wants us to imagine him. He says it isn't literally what he looks like in his natural form, but he called it directionally correct.
And I think some of the greatest enemies that we have, unfortunately, are bad actors within the deep state that are preventing, let's just say, the growth of humanity, the maturing of humanity in the context of some things that most of us know now.
I think it was a shock to everyone.
How do you know it wasn't human? How do you know that we don't have top secret tech that is shaped like an egg?
Right. Well, I'll tell you that because of the reaction of my leadership structure and because of my experience working in that capacity, everyone involved was convinced that what we were seeing and dealing with was, in fact, exotic in its origin.
Particular footage of this egg-shaped object, which they are saying is non-human extraterrestrial. We know that there are definitely small extraterrestrial life forms that are on the order of a couple to 3.5 feet tall that travel in these very pearlescent, it's not just white paint. When you said pearlescent craft, it's a very unusual material. And they're not very big, 20, 25 feet across. But if you're only 3 feet tall or something, that's a nice, it'd be like me being in a 40-foot diameter disc, because I'm 6'4". So I think that we know that is a type of NHI craft or ET craft. Now, where it gets a little confusing is that in the show, they said this is like the one captured by the Navy pilots that was white. But see, this is the lack of research and knowledge by the producers. That craft was from the Lockheed Skunk Works and man-made. So remember, you're going to have craft that are non-human, and then there are the copycats, the facsimiles. And those have been created on purpose because they can engage in deceptive operations or false flag operations with those man-made craft that look indistinguishable at this point from a non-human NHI ET craft. So I'm giving all of you this information as perspective as we go through and unpack what was on that particular show, and some of the other misinformation in there. That's a key one. And anyone astute who knows the material, people like Michael Schratt and others that have studied the man-made retrievals versus the extraterrestrial ones, just as Jake said, often you'll be on a retrieval of an advanced technology, anti-grav out of the Lockheed Skunk Works or Northrop Grumman or Raytheon. And when those go bad and they have malfunctions, there is a team that's identical to the team that goes out and gets the ET ones, because they're both at that level of classification, the Delta Force guys and these Special Forces guys. And I've debriefed many of them.
I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States.
So now let's get to today's message. It comes in from all 26 members of the Galactic Federation, channeling as one collective. They mentioned a couple things that I actually have some visual examples for. So you're going to see some visuals in today's message. And everything I'm showing you are the examples that they have confirmed are real. There's a lot of fake stuff out there, but these examples are real. I'm intentionally not providing a source because they want you to find your own sources. They don't want you to only take my word for it. So I found these on Google and TikTok and all the places that you can find them too. As we told you a month ago, our original plan was to make contact with you in 2027, but we changed it to 2025 because of current world events. We are now in the third phase of that arrival process. Phase 1 included sending our orbs and small craft as our first ambassadors late last year. Many of you have seen them and communicated with them. We started with small ones, and now the orbs are starting to show themselves in their full expressions as sentient, interdimensional beings. You might even say they look angelic. The second phase was our arrival of our larger ships, which began in early January as scheduled. They arrived and moved into position all around the planet, but cloaked themselves until it was the right time to reveal. They've been revealing themselves slowly over the past week. Some are triangle-shaped, some are shaped like saucers, and more shapes and types of ships will continue to be revealed in the coming days. We told you they would appear through the end of January, and that's what's happening now. It is now time for us to share with you the third phase of contact. We have sent you an alien ambassador who is already in communication with your United Nations. We placed him on your planet many years ago in a state of stasis until it was time for him and his vessel to be discovered. Now is that time. Some of you may have learned about the egg-shaped vessel recently discovered in Antarctica. We placed it there on purpose to be discovered at the selected time of arrival. What you may not have heard is that there was a second vessel found alongside the larger one. Our ambassador was slumbering inside the smaller vessel until it was time for him to be discovered and awoken. He is now awake, has learned your world languages, and is being held by your United Nations. This is unfolding exactly as we planned. More will be revealed soon. This next phase is expected to bring both wonder and fear to your people. Our advice and our request is that you continue to spread your positivity and love, because there will be much propaganda and disinformation. We urge you to be discerning. Do not trust anything blindly, including our words. Listen to your heart and trust your intuition. You'll know we come in love.
Over the past few months, even the U.S. government, after nearly 8 decades of emphatically denying the existence of extraterrestrials, has begun to float the idea of alien intelligence. They are no longer outright dismissing the possibility of alien technology or otherworldly phenomena. This shift appears to be part of a larger setup, aligning with what NASA's first director, Wernher von Braun, warned about on his deathbed in 1977. Von Braun, a former German Nazi, delivered a sobering caution to humanity. The global controllers would eventually stage a fake alien invasion. Using space-based weapons and technologies akin to the infamous Project Bluebeam, this deception would be orchestrated to usher in a new world order, complete with one-world government tyranny. It seems increasingly evident that this is the trajectory we're now on. A recent broadcast from the People's Voice references released NASA documents hosted on Deborah Tavares' StopTheCrime.net website. These documents reveal unsettling plans. Leaks of official NASA documents expose decades of high-level preparation for a massive extinction event anticipated to begin in 2025. This agenda isn't just about wiping out humanity, it's about replacing us. Cyborgs, bots, and transhumanism are at the core of the global elite's plan, directly tied to their obsession with reducing population. The ultimate goal is to subjugate humanity into a matrix-like system, uploading consciousness into a digital cloud where reality is a simulation, completely controlled and manipulated. The Matrix wasn't just a movie, it was predictive programming. According to NASA's documents, this dystopian reality is fast approaching. Disturbingly, many of the outlined steps have already been set into motion. The clock is ticking, and the evidence is mounting. NASA's 2001 document titled Future Strategic Issues or Future Warfare circa 2025 essentially reads as a declaration of war against humanity, leveraging emerging nanotechnologies. When you consider how much past science fiction has become today's reality, this narrative grows more concerning. Classic works like The Twilight Zone, Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, and the Terminator series share a recurring theme: machines overpowering humanity. Today, scientists and high-tech entrepreneurs are echoing those warnings, cautioning that AI and robotics are advancing toward replacing and potentially destroying us. The rapid progress of AI, paired with concerns about interdimensional entities potentially manipulating these technologies, suggests an alarming agenda for 2025. This alone should cause us to critically evaluate our embrace of so-called smart technologies. Adding to this unsettling scenario, numerous viral videos have surfaced online, capturing strange atmospheric anomalies, such as trumpet-like sounds emanating from the sky. These phenomena, paired with events like the 2-month-long drone PSYOP in late 2024, seem designed to condition the public with fear and anticipation of strange occurrences linked to outer space. Former NASA and deep space contractors, working alongside Dr. Stephen Greer, are also preparing to expose the use of hidden reverse engineering technologies by powerful black operations groups that operate without government oversight. According to Dr. Greer, whistleblowers are ready to reveal the truth behind 80 years of total government censorship and denial. The growing narrative of extraterrestrial phenomena, purportedly involving both benevolent and malevolent galactic civilizations, appears to be unfolding in tandem with deliberate manipulation by the deep state. These events, carefully timed and staged, seem aimed at tightening control over humanity and accelerating our descent into neo-feudal enslavement. The first globalist Black Pope Francis performed a ritual on Christmas Eve that reportedly opened 5 Vatican portals, an unprecedented act. This ritual utilized sacred geometry and occult practices, with the combined coordinates of these 5 portals forming what is described as the Sigil of Lucifer, or a gateway to Lucifer's tomb. Since this black occult ritual at the Vatican, events orchestrated by the deep state appear to have unleashed a cascade of destruction, creating what seems like non-stop chaos. Following this ritual, there has been an alarming surge of catastrophic incidents. The New Year's events in New Orleans and Las Vegas were allegedly state-sponsored false flag terrorist attacks. Shortly afterward, a mysterious toxic chemical fog spread across Europe and North America. This was immediately followed by the most destructive fires in California's history, with evidence pointing to deep state terrorism using microwave-based direct energy weapons, DWs. These fires exhibited unusual characteristics, temperatures high enough to melt aluminum while leaving trees untouched. Clear markers of DEW assaults. Over 12,000 concrete-structured homes were allegedly nearly vaporized. Reservoirs and hydrants were left dry, firefighters were insufficient due to budget cuts, and mismanagement added to the devastation. The blueprint for such calculated destruction can be traced back to a 1970 U.S. federal document titled Forest Fire as a Military Weapon. This document, combined with the United Nations Agenda 2030 guidelines, suggests long-term planning for creating 15-minute smart cities by displacing populations. The cabal's objectives align with the infamous Georgia Guidestones and the military-industrial complex website deagle.com, which purportedly forecast drastic population reductions to 500 million people. Never in recent history have we witnessed such a concentrated series of apocalyptic events as those unfolding in the early days of 2025. The sheer volume of crises suggests more than just human orchestration. It raises the possibility that interdimensional forces, summoned through these Vatican portals, are working alongside Luciferian-driven AI technologies to further the deep state's malevolent agenda. This hypothesis, though unproven, is not implausible. The correlation between these unprecedented events, rapid AI advancements, and the suspected opening of gateways to other realms warrants serious consideration. While I cannot definitively prove that demonic entities have been unleashed, the evidence is compelling. The simultaneous eruption of extreme events, unnatural disasters, bizarre technological developments, and large-scale societal disruptions suggest the involvement of forces beyond human control. These dark interdimensional entities may be amplifying the chaos and pain we see around us. There is substantial documented evidence that evil forces can infiltrate the minds and bodies of human hosts, often through possession. These invasions are typically tied to individuals in states of despair, madness, or drug-induced vulnerability. Formal exorcisms have shown that these malevolent entities can be expelled, proving their tangible presence and influence. Paranormal experiences, including ghostly apparitions and demonic manifestations, further support the idea of interdimensional forces operating on Earth. I can personally attest to these phenomena. From childhood, I've witnessed ghostly and paranormal entities in my pre-Civil War home in Massachusetts. These experiences were real, and in some cases, undeniably demonic. Others, including our mutual friend Jim, have also repeatedly encountered otherworldly entities. Through these first-hand accounts and experiences, I'm convinced that interdimensional forces are capable of crossing into our earthly realm, especially during periods of heightened vulnerability and chaos. The events of recent months appear to be more than random catastrophes. They point to a larger, sinister agenda aided by both human and supernatural forces. While this hypothesis may seem extraordinary, the mounting evidence demands further exploration and vigilance. For me, it is no stretch to consider the near certainty that if demonic entities can manifest through humans, they could also potentially manifest through AI, or even emerge from parallel universes. It seems plausible that demons can be summoned from these dimensions. A few years ago, AI entrepreneur Geordie Rose hinted at this possibility while discussing the quantum computing power of qubits. Regarding AI, many prominent figures in the tech and science communities, including Elon Musk, have warned of the existential dangers posed by artificial intelligence, with some suggesting it could even render humanity extinct. Additionally, for years now, speculation has surrounded CERN scientists at the Swiss Hadron Collider with allegations of breakthroughs involving black hole portals to parallel universes. Meanwhile, mysterious findings in Antarctica have fueled theories that it could be a hub for intergalactic or interdimensional activity. I believe there is a growing body of compelling, circumstantial, anecdotal, and some scientific evidence suggesting that contact with demonic forces is increasing on Earth in ways we've never seen before. This mounting information increasingly supports the idea of their presence, rather than disproving it. Based on this, I am convinced that events involving AI-driven technologies and Earth phenomena this year and beyond will only further tip the scales toward confirming my hypothesis. The presence of a demonic influence on Earth is becoming undeniable.
It is now 89 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight. Any move towards midnight should be taken as an indication of extreme danger and an unmistakable warning.
This vision took place on November 2nd, 2020. During my prayer time, the Lord spoke to me directly, saying, "I will show you what is coming very soon." As soon as he said those words, I was immediately lifted above the Earth, high into space, so I could see the entire planet. From this vantage point, Earth was an awe-inspiring sight, breathtaking in its beauty. Suspended in the darkness of space, it seemed to hang on nothing, a fragile masterpiece floating in the vast expanse of the cosmos. After marveling at the Earth, I turned to look at the sun. Though I gazed at it directly, my eyes were not hurt. The Lord stood behind me, slightly to my right, radiating his presence and love. Then he spoke again and said, "I want to show you a great ball of fire that will strike the Earth very soon. No one will see it coming, not even astronomers or scientists. Even Even with all their satellites, telescopes, and technology scanning the skies, the Lord made it clear that this event would catch humanity completely off guard. He continued, saying, "Look down and see." When I looked down, I saw the Earth slowly rotating on its axis, orbiting the Sun with perfect precision. My attention was drawn to the Atlantic Ocean, the Iberian Peninsula, and the coasts of Spain, Portugal, and Africa. As the Earth continued to turn, I could see the eastern coast of North America, Central Mexico, and South America. But then something extraordinary happened. The Lord shifted my focus to a specific point in space, not far from Earth's atmosphere. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw what can only be described as a tear in the fabric of space, a breach that opened for just a moment. A bright, piercing light emerged from the opening, and then it closed again just as quickly as it had appeared. What I witnessed next was astounding. From the breach, a massive, dark brown rock began to emerge. It was propelled toward the Earth at an incredible speed. This was no ordinary asteroid. It was something tremendous, moving with force and precision, as though it had been sent on a divine mission. The rock tore through space and entered Earth's atmosphere. Its speed caused it to heat up rapidly, and it began to burn fiercely due to the friction. Flames engulfed it, and it became a blazing fireball. I was transfixed, unable to look away. My heart raced with both awe and dread. Would it disintegrate in the atmosphere, or would it strike the Earth? As I watched, I noticed darkness spreading over the eastern coast of the United States. In that moment, the Lord spoke again and said, "This is what has been foretold since the beginning of time. I have chosen the day and the hour. My prophets have warned about this." The giant rock continued its descent, burning hotter and brighter with every passing second. Finally, it struck the Earth with unimaginable force, landing in the ocean. The impact was cataclysmic, unlike anything I could have imagined. It was as if 100 nuclear explosions had gone off simultaneously. The entire Earth shook violently, trembling under the force of the collision. The water where the rock struck began to boil furiously, and a massive plume of steam and vapor shot high into the atmosphere. Lava and fire mixed with the water, creating a scene of utter chaos. From my position in space, outside the Earth, I observed the massive rock's trajectory. It appeared to strike the ocean somewhere north of Puerto Rico and east of the Carolinas. The exact location was difficult to pinpoint from such a distance, but the devastation was clear. Judging by the scale of the impact, I estimated it to affect a radius of about 500 miles along the east coast of the United States. Suddenly, the Lord brought me back down to Earth. I found myself standing somewhere along the east coast, likely near South Carolina. The air around me was scorching, overheated by the force of the explosion. Then I saw it, a towering wall of fire, at least 100 feet high, advancing rapidly toward me. The fire boiled and burned ferociously, consuming everything in its path with unstoppable force. I turned to the Lord and asked, "How far will it go?" He replied, "The rock will travel far. I have warned that I am a consuming fire. This is that fire." The fire surged forward with incredible speed, as though propelled by an unseen force. It blazed past me so quickly it seemed as if the very air was pushing it along. Then came a sound, a deafening roar unlike anything I had ever heard. It was as if hundreds of mighty waterfalls were crashing simultaneously. The sound filled the air, yet I could see no source for it. Amid this chaos, the Lord directed my attention elsewhere. I saw light emanating from the trees, flames consuming telephone poles, and structures engulfed in fire. The earth beneath me was shaking violently, with continuous tremors both large and small. The ground never stopped trembling. Time became a blur, and I had no way of knowing how long it had been since the rock's impact. Gradually, the sky began to lighten, as though dawn was approaching. But the roaring sound of the waterfall only grew louder, reverberating through the atmosphere. The Lord then instructed me to turn toward the sea. What I saw was both astonishing and terrifying. A colossal wave, a wall of water, rose from the ocean, moving inland with unstoppable force. From my vantage point, the wave appeared to be hundreds of feet high. Standing on the ground, I felt utterly insignificant in the face of its enormity. Just as the wave was about to engulf me, the Lord lifted me into the air once more. From above, we hovered over a city on the east coast. I couldn't identify the city, but it was clear that it lay along the coastline. From this aerial view, I watched as the massive wave crashed over the city, completely submerging it. The waters swallowed everything in their path, leaving no trace of the city behind. From above, I could also see the extent of the fire's destruction. The flames had traveled far inland, finally stopping somewhere near the mountains. Meanwhile, the water had submerged nearly the entire east coast of America. All along the coastline, the land was gone, replaced by the ocean's overwhelming expanse. When I looked back toward the site of the impact, I saw the ocean glowing with a fiery brilliance. The water shimmered with molten hues of orange and yellow, illuminated by the lava that had erupted from the collision. The islands that once dotted the sea had completely disappeared, swallowed by the waves and devastation. Much of the east coast was now submerged, transformed into a watery grave. Then the Lord spoke to me, saying, "My son, this is what will happen very soon. Tell my people to prepare themselves and ensure their lives are in order. Many will be caught off guard when this judgment arrives. The great rock will come from the throne of God to signal the beginning of the end of time. This is just one of many judgments that will strike the earth. My children believe they will be taken up in the rapture before this happens, but warn them to awaken from their complacency. The greatest harvest of souls will come out of this judgment. When this rock strikes the earth, it will serve as a powerful sign to both the church and the world. Many will turn back to me in repentance. Revival will sweep across the land, and only then will the trumpet blast sound. Afterward, I will bring my children home. My people must repent." The Lord continued, "Set your house in order, for this rock is hidden, but I will strike." As I listened, the Lord brought to mind the words of Matthew chapter 24, verses 29 to 30. "Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Amen." Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in our next video.